again, I think not only partially, first off, I felt like this was coming just because of timing and the bear market, to me, or in my opinion, kind of coming to an end just time wise. But also, we can also assign different narratives to it. We had a big Fed meeting today that a lot of people were anticipating, the first one of 2023. Jerome Powell announced a 25-point rate hike for interest rates, which is the lowest that we have had yet since we've been having these meetings and increasing rates. And, we don't have another one until mid-March. So he also sounded, I don't know if you want to say, I don't know who came up with hawkish and dovish. I'm not a huge fan of either word, but I guess you would say he was a bit dovish today and how he sounded on the whole when he spoke. So we'll get into that too. But yeah, Ewok, overall, I mean, I know we're of differing opinions kind of in terms of where we think that the market may still be headed. Just to recap for anybody who's kind of new to us, I mean, we both were kind of looking for new lows in November, and we definitely called that one right. So pat on the back there. And then we were both kind of thinking that we would get new lows by January. None of that happened. Quite the opposite happened. Not that we got any kind of a giga pump, but it's been better. And I've kind of reversed course. I feel like time-wise, in the Bitcoin 4-year cycles, I feel like it seems like they are just panning out. And I'm really feeling like they have November low of about 15.3K for Bitcoin during the SBF garbage was probably our low. So Ewok, I know you feel differently about that, but tell me a little bit about what you think about what we're seeing in the market today and the pumps and everything and what your outlook is here as we head into the spring for Bitcoin. What do you think about this price action?
I think the meeting today went well as expected. And I had said, if they do 25, that I thought things would, do what they're doing today. I said, if it went 50, it could be really bad. And if it went 0, if they didn't do anything, then we would see a huge pump. And, it played out just like I kind of thought it would. I think, though, so what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of longs open up, and that is always dangerous at this point, only because I don't think we have enough confirmations and we haven't gotten through enough support levels yet to say it's officially over without a pretty big pullback. So one of the first mistakes that you do see are like newbies that come in and say, "Oh, I've been listening to this guy. He wants me to open a Bybit account and place a bet on some leverage here and go long." Well, it's usually one of your first mistakes, and hopefully the last time you do that. Maybe not, though, because people double down and try it again and again and again.
Right.
That's why they give those ref links out. They make money when you lose. So, yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of that, a lot of sentiment that is way more bullish than I think we should be at this point. Like I said, at least until we get through some of these support levels. At that point, then, like I said, I'll change my mind, but I just don't think we've gotten there yet. Overall, though, like I said a few minutes ago, the sentiment is nice to see. You see a lot of positivity and a lot of moon boys coming out of the woodwork. So
that's something we're going to get to too, because I don't know if our feeds are just different or, I guess it's whatever you decide to curate kind of, and I don't mean just like you specifically, Ewok, but just anybody, like with your social media accounts, Twitter, YouTube, what you're following. If you're following Altcoin Daily and stuff like that, chances are you're going to see a lot more Moon Boy stuff. If you're following, some kind of a cold-blooded day trader, you're not going to see that as much. So we are going to get to that because I really love delving into the psychology of markets in general, especially this one because of the volatility. And there's so many, the demographic of people in crypto is just freaking crazy compared to anything else. So we'll definitely get into that. But leading off with the FOMC thing. So yeah, the 25-point hike, I don't even know how this is possible, but basically we saw that 99% of the market was expecting that. I don't really even know how you really arrive at those numbers, but that's what we saw. Which could have led people to think that, okay, so if we get a 25-point rate hike, do we even pump that hard? Because everybody is expecting it. Well, yeah, is the answer. We did very hard, and we still are. We still are very hard. And Jerome Powell.
Speak for yourself.
Jerome Powell kind of waffled a little bit. I mean, the guy's going to waffle. Like when you hear him speak after something like this, he's, reporters are going to try to get him to commit to something. He's not going to. He's going to go another direction, whatever. But overall, if I'm just taking the temperature of how he sounded in tone, the way, his eyebrows moved and every single detail on his face, he sounded pretty positive. He did mention that he thought that we are definitely see disinflationary things occur, citing different things that on average in the U.S. are, dropping in price on the shelves at stores and stuff like that. We are seeing it, I believe. I still think inflation's atrocious and worse than the numbers that we have seen, but the effects,
except for eggs.
Yeah, eggs not so much right now. Definitely not. We got the bird flu going on, but we did. I do think he's right. I think we are starting to see that, even if we're not exactly where we want to be. What they actually released in the document that is coupled with the 25-point rate hike was that obviously they're meeting again in March, and they did have language in there basically that said. Verbatim, well, I don't know what is verbatim, but it said that there could be further increases coming. So, as I said to you in the green room, Ewok, like if you're them, you want to leave the door open. You don't want to box yourself in by saying like, "That's it, we're pivoting after this. This is going to be it," and you don't want to say, we definitely are doing another hike, and here's what it's going to be next time. You want to leave that door open because who knows what changes in the next 6 weeks. But with another meeting scheduled for mid-March, if you're them, you want to leave the door open. So I have no idea what they're going to do then, but I do know that not just my takeaway, I think, from everything today, but obviously most of the markets was that they could be pivoting soon. And he sounded pretty positive. So yeah, what's your takeaway? I know you didn't necessarily hear Powell, but what's your takeaway from my interpretation of that anyway?
I agree. I think, you definitely want to leave the door open. You want to see how it plays out. As we know, everything is very much delayed from their actions till things actually play out. So yeah, you don't want to box yourself into a corner and be stuck with one thing. Nobody wants to hear you say one thing and then do another. You definitely don't get any trust, that way. Not that we really trust these guys as much as they've screwed up over the past how many years, but it is bullish, and we can finally see light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's the takeaway that I'm seeing from this. A couple more months of this, and hopefully things get turned around.